Chapter 18-coughneeze.
As a technical information manager, I had been helping our client, George, the executive director, on his presentation to the chairman of General Motors. The meeting would be taking place in Chairman's conference room on the 14th floor of the General Motors headquarters building in Detroit. George would be giving this presentation to the chairman and chairman's staff. It had taken several months to schedule this meeting to ensure that everyone with their busy schedules could attend. I remember the meeting quite well. We arrived in the conference room at 7 a.m. that morning. I sat at the head of the long table next to George, the executive director, who was about to make his presentation. My job was to flip his transparencies on the projector as he spoke. A short time earlier, George had told me that he wasn't feeling well. He also said he was a little nervous about giving his speech, with it being in front of the chairman and all. The room was filled with all the who's who of the corporation. You could feel the tension in the air. After all, giving a presentation to the world's largest corporation was no small matter. Soon the chairman arrived and the door was closed behind him. Closing this door meant that nobody could go out or come in until the chairman leaves. When the chairman nodded, I put the first transparency on the projector and George began to speak. A few minutes went by. When I got to the third slide, George hesitated a bit. He was trying to cough and sneeze at the same time. What came out was a hybrid of cough and sneeze, coughneeze. George covered his mouth and nose simultaneously with a cup of his palm. Attempt 1, no cough. Attempt 2, no sneeze. Attempt 3, coughneeze. Like the sound of a muffler, he exploded and shit his pants. I was close enough to see the loose stool running down his leg like a river flowing down a mountain. The air was filled with the smell of flu. George wobbled out the door as best as he could with his pants completely soiled. As he left, the stool kept dripping out of the bottom of his pants legs. This left behind a brown trail that followed him like a railroad track. To show my concern, I instinctively shouted, "George, are you all right?" George did not answer. In retrospect, that was probably a silly question. If George had answered me, I wonder what he would have said. "Why, yes, Sid, I just shit my pants in front of some of the world's most talented executives, but other than that, I'm great." Nobody knew what to do at that moment. I took the lead. I got up and announced, "As you can see and smell, we will have to reschedule. This meeting is adjourned." Aha! So what have you learned? 1, shit happens. 2, tragedy plus time equals comedy.